So this is dated after my hard crash with the Bugs 3 that ripped an arm off and also tore some of the wires directly off the ESC. So I was a bit concerned about whether the ESC survived or the motor was okay. So what I did, I temporarily soldered some wires together to reconnect the ESC and to the motor, just to see if the thing would still run. Because I'd never soldered directly to a circuit board before, so I was a bit worried that the heat might have damaged them. So I thought, before I go to the whole hassle of taking the thing out of the old broken frame and moving it across, I may as well figure out what I was up against, whether I need to buy more ESCs or motors. So using good old sellotape, I lashed this together. Stood back a bit. And was delighted when I fired it up that all the motors spun. So that gave me a bit of confidence that it was well worth starting the whole process of moving across to a new lower body shell. It only cost me about $10 on Banggood, by the way, so that's what encouraged me to try a repair in the first place. So I just did a restart, make sure it would start twice. And there's the new body shell. And I started by disassembling the arm, taking the screws off the low landing gear, and then taking the cover off the LED strip. Tricky little thing is that there should be screwed, needs to be taken out, unscrewed and taken out before you put the wires through, otherwise you can't get it through. So this is how I've got the pieces from the broken arm on so far. Now I'm just going to put the back on there and just sellotape it all together to hold the bits together for now. But later on, because later on I've got to get at it and solder those wires together. So at this stage I've got all the wires that I found soldered back onto the ESC, mounted on the new frame, and I'm now ready to take the flight control board out of the broken lower shell. Before that, I moved across all the motors. I cut the wires and moved the other 3 motors to the new frame. So at this stage I've got all 4 motors on the new frame. So there goes the flight control board. Quick look at it. And I'm ready to mount it. Looking back on the old frame, I noticed that there are 4 rubber vibration dampers on little poles. So before you put the new the original flight control board across the new shell, you've got to whip those off and put them on the frame, and then mount the flight control board on top of them. So at this point, yeah, I've done a bit of soldering. In fact, I've soldered up the wires. I've used extension wires, which looks kind of messy, and I've covered them with liquid insulation tape. And now I'm ready for another test of the motors, this time in the new frame. I haven't bothered to put the LEDs on or connect at all on the 3 motors. So very happy with that. They all spun up, seem to be okay. So next step, put propellers on, and you'll notice right away there's something a bit fishy about the left rear propeller. In fact, after a while it got going, and I was able to fly with it, but after a short flight it's going to fall out in the air. As a result of that, one of the wires, the white wire, came off the ESC. I think it had a fairly tenuous connection because I was doing some testing earlier and the thing would fly for a bit and then drop out of the sky. So in a way it was good that that came right off, because I knew I could do a decent joint onto it at this stage, getting a bit more confidence with my soldering. And here's the liquid electrical tape, which has been fantastic. At first I was trying to use shrink tube, but this stuff you just put on as a liquid and it hardens and insulates is brilliant. Can't recommend it enough for small wires. So I've got tubes of black and red, but I mainly tend to use the black. So after that, putting that wire back on the ESC that meant it wouldn't run at all, another test. Once again you can see that left rear prop looks a bit fishy. In fact, you notice as it tends to lift off, it's not as much thrust on that one. What I got here, the motors, I bought a couple of motors, one clockwise, one counterclockwise, and you can distinguish them because they've got a little dimple on the top of one but not on the other, and they sort of come in pairs and they're diagonally opposite. So you can see one with the daggy wires, that's the one I took out. I suspect it's just a bit of dirt in the motor and I might be able to refurbish it. And here's proof in the pudding. Successful flying again. I've done some punch tests out in the reserve, and so far everything looks to be really good, so I'm happy with that. So bye for now.